what the JAKUB Kiwior Arsenal signing definitely means to the club. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being part of the podcast. And make your point, subscribe, and that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related right here at Arsenal Online. We're definitely dedicated to bring to you the latest right about as it comes in. It will be remembered that Arsenal have definitely signed JAKUB Kiwior. It's called JAKUB Kiwior, who comes in from Spezia, and he's a very wonderful football player in the Italy side. He comes in from Spezia, and he is a Poland international. He's been playing for Poland, and it will be remembered that he has managed to win 9 cups for Poland, and he started all the 4 games that were played in the FIFA World Cup at Qatar. So you can see how he is a class football player, and Arsenal definitely are more than happy to have this gentleman. Let us know what you think in the comment section, so you do not miss out on whatever we've got to bring to you about JAKUB Kiwior and his transfer to Arsenal and what it definitely means. Before we go any further, before we even go any further, we can talk about a little bit about what exactly transpired with this transfer. But it will be remembered still that this is not the first Arsenal transfer. It will be remembered that this gentleman from Brighton and Hove, Leandro Trossard also came in from Brighton and Hove and signed a contract with Arsenal, and he was paid the amount of money that was in this was definitely £27 million for Leandro Trossard. However, Leandro Trossard is a good one, a very good striker, has been tested in the Premier League and has played quite well. So with a number of clubs that were interested in JAKUB Kiwior, it was all done quite low, as Arsenal always Arsenal targets are sometimes, most of the times, actually taken away by some of the football players. And in this came out starting from a former Atletico Madrid football player, that was Joao Felix, who now plays for Chelsea. Arsenal had a bigger hand in this one and actually was even willing to invest more. The amount of money that was being talked about was quite a lot, and that was something around £20 million for 6 months, and definitely that was quite a lot, and Arsenal had to back off. But it ended that Chelsea invested in only £8 million, and that was a loss for Arsenal. But definitely they had to keep on moving, and they had to even go for the one and only Mikhail Mudryk was talked about quite a lot. Mikhail Mudryk is a wonderful football player. He is a good football player. He was talked about, and he tried his level best to make sure that he can come to Arsenal, but again Chelsea interrupted. So the approach of the transfers has definitely changed, and when I say changed, it's definitely changed, because when you look at how things are definitely going, the club has definitely decided to keep quiet about transfers, about whom they are signing. Just give us a notice of 2-3 days, and definitely we all know that things are going on this direction. We're going to sign this one in 2 or 3 days. Otherwise, football players who've been linked to the club Arsenal have always been hijacked, and this time round Chelsea has come with a different opinion, different strategy of hijacking football players. Whether you want or not, they'll just get the football player. They inject in quite a lot of money. For example, the Mikhail Mudryk transfer, they injected in £100 million, 100 million euros, and that's something like £88 million. That was quite a lot of money, and they signed this gentleman for 8 years. 8 years. I mean, 8 years. That's quite a long period of time. A very long period of time. 8 years is quite a lot. So I think that's a big deal. That's quite a lot of money. I must say, a lot of money for Mikhail Mudryk, and there's no way Arsenal could afford a football player like him, because Arsenal are not a club that always buys stars. It's Arsenal makes stars. That's what makes the difference between Arsenal and very many other clubs. Anyway, actually with all that definitely went on, the strategy has definitely changed. However, we could be seeing even other football players falling in this. We could be seeing other football players. We could be seeing Arsenal making instant signings. As all of you know that Leandro Trossard was an instant signing because we were not given any notice there and then. 1 week he's done and dusted, and that was mainly brought about by Chelsea hijacking Arsenal football players. Anyway, one of the football players that we have been talking about and right about now is also quite linked, heavily linked to the club, is Yuri Tillmans. We could be seeing Yuri Tillmans also joining Arsenal, but everything is still definitely quite low as the club has decided to keep quiet about the transfers and only make instant signings. So Leandro Trossard, definitely for him, it was definite. Also, he came to the club and he came from Brighton and Hove, and he's played quite well in the Premier League. Played very well for Brighton and Hove, and he's helped Brighton and Hove to be in the position they definitely are in, and that's been quite clear. That's definitely been a very wonderful thing for the club, and that's been a good thing for the club, Arsenal. And Leandro Trossard also a good one. However, leaving Leandro Trossard a little bit and also going to the main topic of the day, and this is none other than JAKUB Kiwior, who is a very wonderful one who started 4 of the games, played 4 games that Poland had to play. Remember that he's played with the likes of Lewandowski at the Poland national team, and he started all the 4 games and he played brilliantly. And leaving that alone, he has also managed to win 9 caps, actually 9 caps for the Poland national team, and that's quite class. That we can classify that as class. So definitely things are going on quite well for the club Arsenal, as they have landed this gentleman. It is a deal that is done, sealed, and confirmed, and there is nothing more that we can say about that. It's deal done, sealed, and confirmed. However, what does this actually mean to the club? What does this mean to the club? What does this mean to Arsenal? Because signing this gentleman who is a left-sided central defender, what does this mean to the club? The club is trying its level best to make sure that they can address the problem of depth, as depth is a problem that has been at the club Arsenal, as not many alternatives have always been given to Arsenal. When you look at the bench of Arsenal, you do not have quite a big number of alternatives. And when you look at the bench, whom are you going to bring to the match, and he will scare the opposite side? That's what depth is all about. Who will come off the bench and will be a very dangerous one? Who is a good option at the bench? That's what depth is all about. So definitely this is what Arsenal are trying at their level best to make sure that they can try and make it much better than it already is. They're trying to make it much better than it already is, because when you see how Arsenal has been playing of recent, definitely you realize that things have been going on quite well for the club Arsenal. But again, if Arsenal need to be in the first position and remain in the first position, reinforcement is something that Arsenal should do, and that's what Arsenal is definitely doing. It's trying to make sure that can bring out a reinforcement, bring on good football players, and definitely things will be going on quite well for the club Arsenal. So let us know what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever we definitely have to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right about here at Arsenal Online with me, your host Abu Carls, as I'm more than ready to bring to you the latest straight as it comes. And we are saying, what does it mean for JAKUB Kiwior to sign for Arsenal? It will be remembered that the person who is playing the same number as JAKUB Kiwior is Gabriel Magalhaes. Also, do not forget that Gabriel Magalhaes has played all Premier League games ever since the season has started. He's not rested. And look at this way. If he gets an injury, what's going to happen? What is going to happen? So definitely Mikel Arteta and the technical director of Arsenal, Mr. Edu Gaspar, now sporting director, had to sit down and think about it. If anything happens to Gabriel, what's the next step? Is the club going to lose the first position? And definitely they had to go for the left-sided central defender, JAKUB, who is a very good one. He's played quite brilliantly. He's been trusted with games, and when it comes to the defense section, it will definitely be good. And looking at the defense section of Arsenal, it's a brilliant one. It's definitely a very great one. Looking at William Saliba, looking at Ben White, looking at Mangles. Now, the left-sided central defender, JAKUB Kiwior. Definitely that shows you that the defense is sorted for now. Arsenal shouldn't be complaining. Arsenal fans shouldn't be complaining about depth. I think Stan Karionke and Josh Karionke, the fact that they dished out the money, definitely that's quite a brilliant thing. And Arsenal has gone on to ship in the football players. And also, it will be remembered again that, the loss of Michael Mudryk did something much better to the club. The loss of Michael Mudryk to Chelsea. Michael Mudryk, Arsenal could have paid something like 100 million euros. 100 million euros for Michael Mudryk. But 100 million euros for a club like Arsenal, definitely, it's quite a lot of money. I was saying, I don't know if I can get you that photo, but I was seeing the amount of money that the club has spent on these football players. The club has not spent quite. Let me see if I can get this photo on. But the club has not spent a lot of money on football players. Let me try and get this on. The club hasn't got. It's not spent. Looking at the football players that the club has bought, definitely, it's not spent quite a lot of money. Arsenal isn't a club that buys stars; it makes stars, and you can see that it bought a 6 million star football player, and that is, guess who that is? That's Gabriel Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli was bought at £6 million. Edin Ketia is an academy graduate. You know what I mean? And then looking at Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka is also an academy graduate. Then £30 million is what Martin Odegaard came in for. So why would Arsenal be looking at a big figure of £100 million? Why? Does it make sense? £100 million. Why? And yet you can have a football player like Martin Odegaard, a £30 million. You can make a football player like Martin Odegaard. You can make a football player like Edin Ketia. You can make a football player like Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli. That is definitely something that Arsenal is very, very good at, making stars. All this, by the way, when you look at the entire club of Arsenal, all of the football players, there is maybe Gabriel Jesus, because he's come from Manchester City and he's been a big star there. But when the rest of the football players at Arsenal, they have not had those big names before they've moved to Arsenal. They have either been academy football players and the coach has trusted them, or they have just been identified as potential stars, and given the opportunity, they have proved the world that they are good football players, and that's what's happened with the club Arsenal. And this is why, even before talking about this football player went to Chelsea, Michael Mudryk. Nobody knew Michael Mudryk. To be honest, I didn't know Michael Mudryk the last season. Nobody was talking about Michael Mudryk. But the fact that Arsenal always puts in an extra hand and makes sure that things go well for them as they are trying to get the best out of the football players and their targets. So it noticed that he is a very good lad, a very good gentleman, and Arsenal gave him the limelight. Nobody knew this player as a Ukrainian superstar. He was playing for the Ukraine national team a little bit, but he was playing for Shakhtar Donetsk, and that's even Shakhtar Donetsk is not that a big club that many people knew Shakhtar Donetsk. Actually, Michael Mudryk being linked to Arsenal made quite a lot of sense to Shakhtar Donetsk and made quite a lot of sense to Michael Mudryk himself, because that's when Chelsea noticed that he is a good player. And this is why football players like this gentleman, JAKUB Kiwior, are definitely being bought by the club. So JAKUB Kiwior, remember these words I'm saying. After some time, he will be a very big football player. He will be a big name. He will be a big name. Right upon now, when you're talking about big names in the Premier League, the big names in the Premier League, you won't go without a mention of Bukayo Saka. That would be unfair. You won't go without a mention of Gabriel Martinelli. Yeah, that will definitely be unfair. But they didn't come the way they are. So him going, Mikhail Mudryk, Arsenal losing out on Mikhail Mudryk, it would have been, I think it was more of an advantage. So that's the amount of money that could be invested or that would have been invested in him. They could possibly invest in Declan Rice in the summer transfer window. However, right about now, there is a chance that Yuri Tillmans is going to be signed. There is a big chance that Yuri Tillmans is going to be signed, but nothing has come to conclusion just as yet. But JAKUB Kiwior, definitely is a deal done, sealed and confirmed, and everything is going on quite well for the club, as JAKUB Kiwior has officially signed. And this definitely means, this implies that since JAKUB Kiwior has signed, that means that the defense section at the club Arsenal is definitely sorted. So we could have a few football players that will definitely also sign for Arsenal. But right upon now, the main football players that have signed the confirmed deals are Leandro Trossard, who goes to Arsenal from Brighton and Hove at £27 million, and he is done and dusted deal, and the club is just waiting for him to officially begin playing. He was on the pitch, but he's not had the 90 minutes, and he will probably be given the 90 minutes anytime from now. And then also not forgetting that now JAKUB Kiwior is definitely in the picture, and he is done and dusted. He watched the game between Manchester United and Arsenal. That gave us a big hint that he's definitely going to sign for Arsenal. The fact that he watched that game, that was a brilliant thing. And guess where he was seated? He was seated besides the one and only technical director of Arsenal, Mr. Edu Gaspar. And that definitely gave us a big hint that the next thing is going to be a signing for this gentleman. Let us know what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe. As when you look at the top 6, you can see that Arsenal is in the first position with 6 points, and the fact that 50 points, and it has a difference of 5 points between. There's a difference between Manchester City and Arsenal, 5 big points, and Newcastle has 39 points, and I think is on level with Manchester United. That's a big difference of 11 points, and definitely that makes the club even much better. That's a big thing for the club Arsenal with that difference. So could we be seeing Arsenal taking the English Premier League title with these football players that are being signed, better options being put in place? Definitely there is big possibility, there is big chance that the club could be definitely taking the Premier League title. However, I will be remembered still that when Mikel Arteta was asked about this is what he had to say. He said he is so aware about big clubs that have better options, big football players, and a lot of depth. But Arsenal is a young squad team as it is, but they are trying their level best to make sure that they can take the Premier League title. That was quite good of him. Anyway, let us know again what you think in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, as what you do not miss out on whatever we've got to bring to, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right here at Arsenal Online. Thank you again for subscribing. If you've not yet subscribed, as we are telling you, it is a deal that is done, sealed and confirmed. Nothing more. Done, deal, sealed and confirmed. So we could be seeing a better Arsenal already. The fact that it is in the first position with JAKUB Kiwior and also Leandro Trossard. Definitely everything will be going on quite well. For those of you who were asking how long JAKUB Kiwior's contract is, It is 4.5 years with an option to extend his contract by 1 year. And the amount of money that has been paid for JAKUB Kiwior's contract, it is £20 million, and that's a great deal. That's definitely a good investment for the club Arsenal. That's where Arsenal gets things right. There's no reason as to why you should buy a £100 million football player. It is not even going to bring results. I mean, look at the squad, young squad, and playing quite brilliantly. That's definitely a very, very good thing. If you need to know anything more about JAKUB Kiwior, I would be more than happy to let you know. But as it stands per now, that is what we have for you right here, as we have been telling you what it could really impact. What could this really mean to the club? It's definitely going to be a brilliant one. Make it a point to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever. As we have definitely told you that it's been £20 million that has been paid for JAKUB Kiwior. And also his shirt number, if I'm not mistaken, is shirt number 17. That's what he was going to be putting on. Shirt number 17, £20 million. He is a left-sided central defender. What else do you need to know? Left-sided central defender. And his amount of money also, we've talked about it. Anyway, that will be a great one. That will definitely be a great one from the football player who comes in from Spezia. Otherwise, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever we've got to bring you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related. Thank you and goodbye for now.